Hey guys, it's Michelle with Cashel Creations. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Today I just wanted to share with you what I've been working on. I did take the Vicki Boutin Discover and Create class last month in February. If you're unfamiliar with Vicki Boutin or unfamiliar of what I'm referring to, I will try to link the videos down below, one to her YouTube channel so you can check her out, and one to the walkthrough of the class kit that I purchased. The class already took place. However, she does do this thing called access only, where you can get your own product, you source it yourself, and then you basically take the class with her. Now, she does full in-depth. For the money, it's so worth it. Actually, I feel like it's too good to be true, to be honest with you. But I will share with you, if not already, what I accomplished. But today, what I really wanted to just share with you is what I wanted to do with the inside of my album. As you can see, I haven't decorated yet. The guts of the album has been completed, but today I just wanted to share with you what I plan to do with the inside. So I kind of had some ideas in mind, and so she has in one of her stencil kits, this stencil, it's cute flowers. It reminds me of the 70s in my mind. And so what I wanted to do was do a technique that I saw on another class I took with Jennifer McGuire, where she used clear embossing powder and basically used her ink and then gave it that shadow effect. And so if you're not familiar with what I'm referring to, it's something to this, where whatever color cardstock you're working with, the clear embossing powder will basically allow that imprint to come through, and then you basically decorate around it. So this was kind of like my sample as to what I was trying to obtain. But I should have listened to my instructor, Vicki, and realized that the inside of the album, the way that the material is, it doesn't allow the ink to stay, or at least show the vibrancy that I was looking for in regards to my sample. And so as you can see, I attempted doing the embossing and then playing with the inks. I only have distress ink for the colors that I'm using. I don't have the oxides. So I wasn't sure if even the oxides would work, but I tried to do it, then it didn't work. I removed it. Then I said, I wonder if the color pencils will work. As you can see here on the bottom right hand corner, it wasn't giving me the white clear embossing effect as I do see in this sample with the flower. The pigment still sticks to it. So color pencils are not going to work, and the distress color pencils are not going to work in this sense. So then I said, well, why don't we just do it on a regular cardstock and stick it to the album? So that is what my purpose is of this video. Hopefully I wasn't long-winded in that aspect of getting to my point, but what I'm going to basically do, and I already kind of pre-cut my pages to start, was I'm just using what I have on hand, and that's the Joann's brand Park Lane. This is 110 pounds. I don't think it matters the weight, but I just want to at least let you know what I'm using in case you want to do the exact same thing, but just use what you have on hand. I will tell you the measurements on the inside of the album in case you want to do what I'm doing again. It's going to be 9 inches across and 9 1/4 down. And that is the same for both sides. Now, you're probably thinking, how are we going to bypass this area? So we're going to work on that, because in my mind, I'm thinking one thing. I'm not sure how we're going to execute it. I'm thinking of just cutting something here and slicing it down the middle, but we'll get to the difficult part, I feel like, to the end. So basically what I want to do is kind of do the same concept that I had in mind with my sample, which is here. And then what we're going to do to adhere it is I use for my album making this lovely double-sided tape. Now, I purchased mine from scrapbook.com, but I know there's other brands out there that sell it. So you can use whatever adhesive you want. I just find that because I'm putting this on the inside of an album that's going to have a lot of use, I want to make sure that it has this durability and the strength to stay. That's just my preference. You do what works for you and what you're comfortable with. So we're gonna get started. As you can see, I already cut out my images. I feel like we're gonna leave this last one, which is the right side of the album last, and we'll work on these two. So what we're gonna do is kind of work on the same concept of what I was envisioning. I wanted to put 3 of the flowers down the middle, and then just random flowers with the options on the side. So what we're gonna do is let's work on the middle one, because I feel like since that's the smallest, it will work easier. Now, what I'm gonna do again is I'm using the stencil, and if you manipulate your stencil, whatever stencil you're using, you can kind of get the concept of what you're looking for. So I do have 3 in a row here, so I don't have to worry about placement. So all I really got to do is just make sure they stay in order. And so I'm going to be working with an embossing pen. I know there's different forms out there for embossing sources. I like to have a little bit of everything. I do know that they have a, I don't have it in front of me, but it's like an ink form. I have that too, but I want to just get the outline of the flower. As you can see here, I don't want to make the flower whole, because I kind of want the bleed of the different colors in it, which I think is really pretty. So that's my intent. Obviously, you use what you have on hand along with what works for your vision of crafting. So the next thing I'm gonna make sure I have available is a heat source. So I'm gonna be using this heat gun. Again, I'm gonna have this choice of embossing powder, and then I have just a piece of copy paper on hand. This is mainly just to grab the excess embossing powder and put it back in my container, because I want to keep it. So I might just put everything under one another, just so that way I have a quicker reaction time. Definitely want to make sure you're prepared, because the worst thing is it drying and then it not working. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up. I want to hope and pray I can do all 3 at one time, but I feel like that might not happen because of, you know, I'm outlining it. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to do one at a time for now. And so what I'm going to just basically do, I'll show you one and then I'll do the other ones off camera, is make sure your paper's clean. And I'm just going to outline the inside. And I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible. I think because I was working on a different surface with the album insert, that this might... Okay, so I did all of them. Take this off, and then I'm just gonna pour. I don't know if I'm gonna have to do it little by little, but we'll see. Trial and error, right? That's basically the beauty of crafting. So I'm going to just tap this off and make sure I got everything. Hopefully you guys can see that. So it did pretty well. If you feel like another go, then do it. Let's just do it, because it's not gonna hurt anybody. You're gonna put all this right back in. And I think that actually was better. I do know you could probably use, see, because I got some excess in there. Now, what I typically do is I'll use a brush very carefully to try to go in there and remove that stuff. And in this sense, I think I took some off. I think at a slant I see better. All right, so I'm gonna just put this off to the side. I'm gonna pour all my stuff back in. The worst thing to do is to leave this on your table and then start your blower and then this go everywhere. I've never seen it happen, but I wouldn't want to be that on camera. So we're gonna go ahead and heat emboss this. So I'm getting my heat gun started. This does get really hot, so definitely use something to protect your fingers. And we're basically just going to reactivate the embossing powder, and it'll give it that pretty, I don't know if you can see it on camera, it'd be like a glaze. It's kind of like magic in my mind. All right. So that basically is one of them. And we have 2 more to go. I guess I probably should have waited for it to dry. That was my bad. All right, we're gonna do another one because yeah, so don't do what I just did. I am going to cut another sheet, and I had another one on the side just in case I made a mistake. And that was my user error. So again, I just want 3 by 9 1/4. I should have just been patient. All right. Take 2. All right, so let's do this one more time. I guess we got our practice in that one. For some reason, my cat's hairs love to get everywhere. All right, so I'm gonna line this up one more time. I'm gonna try to manipulate it to the, there we go. All right, so now as you can see, my point pretty much got wasted in the process here, but it is what it is. And we're just gonna go around each petal. Trick is remembering where you started from. I think that's all of them. Yes. Okay, let's try this again. All right. I think the next one we're going to use that static stuff that I keep talking about because I want to see if it actually does change the outcome here, so I don't have to do this. But basically I'm just taking off the excess of the embossing powder. You probably can't see it, but I do. And I don't know if that will glaze it because there's nothing there. I'm still learning all this stuff, but we will learn it together. All right, so let's put this back in its lovely container. Okay, I'm gonna heat emboss this and not touch it this time. All right, so what I'm gonna do off camera is I'm gonna do the other 2 and then I'll be back and then we can start with the inking process. So sit tight. All right guys, so I'm back. I have done all 3 flowers that are embossing. It kind of looks like this one at the bottom shifted, so I might put that toward the bottom. So as I showed you with my prior example, I kind of like the whole blending look. And so the ink colors that I will be using is a Distress ink, and it's Fossilized Amber, Peeled Paint, and Weathered Wood. And that's kind of like what gave me the effect. And then I basically, after I applied the combination I wanted, I then took some water and spritzed it, and that's where you get the discoloration in that. Again, this was my sample. I basically just wanted to do a trial run before I started with the album, and then of course I had to pivot again. So you never know how things work with certain substrates, so it's always a gamble unless you're used to working with certain things, and I'm still in the process of learning. So I really like the way that it blended in the 3 colors. So I think what I want to do is kind of start with the yellow at the top. Now I also have to keep in mind how the other 2 sides are going to be, and if that matters, and I don't know yet. So for right now, we're just going to be playing, and then if I need to do it again, I guess I just do it again. But I'm just using some ink daubers, and again, I'm just going to be working in a circular motion and just applying the amount of color I want to be there. Again, it's your palette or your canvas, so do as you like. I think it's kind of cool how the clear embossing powder kind of resists the color, as you can kind of see. Now it does have some pigment on it, but once we're done, we're gonna wipe it, and hopefully that shows through. So again, I'm just going in a circular motion, and I feel like I'm going sideways here, but let's kind of break that up a little bit. So hopefully you guys are having a good day and you're doing some fun stuff other than watching me paint. Usually when I watch my own YouTube channels, I am doing other things unless something catches my eye, and then I stop what I'm doing and then I focus my attention on the show that I'm watching. But I just think that is so pretty. So here's the next question. As you can see here, I kind of like did a little bit of a blend because I didn't want it to be so specific. So I think what I'm gonna do now is kind of like introduce the other colors within it, so that it has like that blend there. And then I think I'm gonna get the blue. Hopefully I'm in frame. I kind of like that. Kind of like the whole motion, because that way when I pair it on the other side, and then we're gonna go with the green again. I think this one's the green. We're gonna that part, this is what I get frustrated with. I don't know if any of you do the same, but I hate when you come in and it's like so prominent that it's the smudge of your dauber, and then I try to rectify that by moving it around. I kind of like that. I feel like I need a little bit of yellow down here at the bottom and get that blend going in. Maybe a little bit of blue here. All right, I really like that. This came out so cute. Okay, so now what we're gonna do next, I just want to keep my inks closed so they don't dry out. Now what we're gonna do is I am just gonna take probably a clean paper towel, and I am just going to go over it and kind of get whatever ink was on top off. Not much, but I feel like that you kind of see the whole concept there. Now I kind of want to give it some, like, not muddiness, but dimension, I think is the correct word. So I had to buy a new one. I couldn't find the Tim Holtz sprayer, which I like better because I have that way of spritzing, but we'll try to make this one work. Okay, so we're supposed to let it sit for a bit and let it marinate, I guess is the right word to use. And hopefully you guys are seeing all this. All right. So as you can see, it's kind of taking that color right there. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take a paper towel and you're going to go like that and you lift it up, and it pretty much did what we wanted it to do. I don't want to do a lot of it because this isn't watercolor paper, and I know that I already have like a little bit of warping, but I'm just going to take my heat gun underneath it and kind of like get that form out. So let's go back to the album so you guys can kind of see already what it's gonna look like. I'm a visual person, so sometimes I need to see things as they go. So again, this is gonna go right here in the center, and I think that's just so pretty. I'm not gonna put it down yet because if in case I wanted to switch it around, I have that opportunity to do that. So again, we've done already one panel and it's super, super cute. Okay, so now we're gonna do one of the left panel here. Now just kind of remember, let me go in frame. It is 9 by 9 1/4, so you want to make sure you have it in the position where you know it's going to be, versus you went this way and it's the wrong viewpoint, and then you might place your flowers or whatever you're placing in a different way. So I'm gonna go this way because that is my 9 and 9 1/4, and I can see here. Now again, I'm gonna do the same technique, so what I might do is just do all this off camera because I'm pretty sure you don't need to watch me do this again. But I'm just gonna take my flower stencil again and just kind of like place them in different spots. As you can see what I was attempting on the album on the right hand side, and hopefully you can see that with the glare, or at least because it's again clear. I kind of did like a half flower there, did one off to the side, again another one off to the side, another one there. So I'm gonna kind of do that same concept on the paper, and then I will be back to share that with you and then start the ink blending and then go from there. So I will be right back. All right guys, so again, we went through this, which is gonna be my middle console. And then what I did was I went ahead and I did actually both sides. So this will be my left side. I kind of just placed them in different areas like I stated, and I actually add little tiny dots in the center for pollen. I thought that would be something different. So this is gonna go on my left side, and then I went ahead and did the right one as well because why not? And what I basically did was I did a little tick marks because I felt like that will be my measurement for the apparatus here in the center, which is our binder rings. The one thing that I need to take into account is that this is circular on one side and straight on the other. So I'm thinking that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out the center here, and because this is at the bottom, I might just do like one slit so that way I can kind of maneuver around it and then put it here. So I want to kind of do that step first before I spend the time on the inking in case it doesn't work and then I just wasted all my time. So I think we're gonna try that first, if that's okay with you guys. Mainly just, again, I feel like the harder part to get it out of the way. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of use what do you call them? This little doohickey here in the center. Because it's kind of like in there, I'm just gonna do in the center here and then work my way out to kind of gauge it, I guess. Or yeah, I think that's the, I don't know, in my head I'm like going around with so many different options here. This is not gonna work as a ruler. Let's see if this one will. Oh, it does. Perfect. Okay, maybe we will do this. All right, so if I have this correctly placed, it fits perfectly in my trimmer. And so where are we doing? This way would be better. So I measured that it is actually 1 inch over. So let's do this correctly. We're at our 1 inch marker here. Okay, so 1 inch over would place it here. And I'm just gonna do a light pencil mark because I know it's 2 inches down and it's gonna be 2 1/4 from the bottom. So that would take me to this spot right here. So I'm gonna just do it like this. And then I also realized that it was a 1 1/4 in width as the bottom. So 1 1/4 from one, that would take me to 2 1/4. I feel like now is where my math comes into play with school, right? So then we're gonna come back over here and line this baby up. And again, we're gonna go to 2 inches and go down, I think it was like to 6 7/8. Wow, that's completely off. All right, well, at least that gives us an idea of the center. So we're gonna try it and we're gonna see what comes of it. So if it's wrong, then guess what? It's paper and we just do it all over again. All right, so what I wanna, again, I know it's 2 inches from the top, and so you can follow along with me. We put this here and it is at the edge and it's right there at about 2 inches. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to come down a little smidge from the 2 and I pushed it in. And then if you can see, it comes past 7 1/4. Can you see? Maybe not. Hopefully that helps. So I'm just gonna go down to 7 1/4 and see what happens. All right, and then if we take the ruler and go this way, again, I'm coming off of the left side of this and I want to say it's like about 1 inch. And then on this side, it's going to be about 2 1/4 if we're taking it from the edge. So what I'm going to do is I am going to move this to 2 1/4. Right? That was quarter. No, that was an eighth. 2 1/4. And I'm going to kind of do the same concept. I'm going to go down to right below the 2 and we're going to go to 7 and a smidge, 7 and an eighth, I think it is. Okay. And then what are we going to do? We're going to rotate it and we're going to do the fun part. We're going to cut through the guts. All right. So if we come down to 2 inches, which I think is what I stated, but let's just go a smidge, which will put us there. And I'm gonna follow my grid lines. So I wanna say it's right there. And I'm gonna go up. Usually you can feel it tick, which it seems like I'm off completely, but that's okay. And then we're gonna slide it down and, well, let's rotate it. We're gonna rotate it and we're gonna go to 2 1/4. And again, we're gonna do this on this side, so it's the opposite measurements. And I know if I'm freaking you out, I'm so sorry. My brain functions a little differently. All right, so it kind of is cut, but not cut completely. So we're just gonna use our scissors and we're going to just manipulate that for ourselves. And this side up here, we're going to do the same concept and not try to break You could probably use an X-Acto knife, but that would require some thought, right? All right, so we're going to, there we go. Come on. Now, again, this is not going to work, and I'm going to explain to you why in a minute. Because as you see, this part, paper can only do so much. But what I want to make sure of, and I guess I would have to just cut it down the middle. Okay, are we going to commit? What should we do, guys? All right, here goes nothing. Ready? 1, 2. Okay. So now is what I want to do. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so we can see it's not perfect, right? Nothing is ever going to be perfect. But it seems like I need to come up, which again, I went below the 2 marker. And I think when I do that, it would bring this down a bit. As you can see, I'm like 1/8 of an inch off from the bottom. So we're gonna take 1/8 of an inch off from the top. So we're gonna go sideways. And there is my marker, and we're just gonna make it like there. And we are going to, of course, line that up, and that looks like a little bit less than an 1/8. We're gonna see if that works regardless. And so I'm just going with my scissors and seeing if that helped. You know, I'd rather do little by little than too much, and then I have to start from all over again. So again, I'm just gonna mold it to what I want. And it looks like I'm still not there. So we gotta take off a little bit more. This is the fun part, guys. Okay, I feel like it went sideways. All right, so let's do that one more time. And I'm just following my little arrow on the sides of my blade. I don't know if you have those on yours. But they are very helpful. So again, I'm just going up with my scissors and removing that little piece. Hopefully that did the trick. All right. All right, so we got that down. Okay, so now it seems like it's the bottom. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna take 1/8 of an inch off. And because this is at the bottom, it's not a big deal. Now it does kind of suck that this is gonna be a rectangle, I guess is the correct term to use, and that has a little indentations, but I don't know. Okay, gotta take a little bit more. And then the fun part will be the coloring. So have any of you tried to do stuff like this in your albums that are already pre-made, or do you just leave it as is and you don't embellish or do any mixed media to them? Kind of curious. At the beginning, I personally never did. And as I keep taking Vicky's classes and watch other creators on YouTube, I have been doing more outside of the box options. Seems like it still just keeps going. Okay, maybe I should take a pencil and just, I'm gonna perforate it. Okay, I think I should just go down to the bottom and just do it like that. So let's just do that. and pray that that was the right thing to do. See, now it's sideways. All right, let's see if this works. I hope it does, because now we can start doing our painting or our distress colors. Oh, perfect. Okay, so now it works. So now I'm just gonna erase my pencil marks, and then we're gonna get to coloring. So I'm gonna do that off camera. As you already saw, we're pretty much doing the same kind of concept, but now I know my placement. I might actually add maybe another flower, I'm not sure. But now that this kind of works in the sense of where it goes, and it actually gave me a little bit more of a gap, which I'm fine with as well. But the whole point is to just get, yeah. I probably didn't have to go over so much, but that's okay. It's my book, and it's in the back. All right, guys, so I'm gonna be right back once I'm done coloring them, and then we can place it. All right, guys, so I went ahead and hopefully you guys can see all that. I painted it, and what I basically did was I followed a pattern, kind of like if I were to have done this all on one sheet of paper and then cut it out. So I think it came out pretty cool. I mean, it is what it is, I guess, but I really like it. Hopefully you guys like it too. So now we're gonna put in the album. So what I did was I already went ahead and I placed all of my double-sided adhesive on the back, and now we're going to apply it. So what I like to do is also dry fit it to make sure that it is exactly where I want it to go. Now I will have the seam in the middle. What do you call it? Seam in the middle to be white, and I'm fine with that, but at least this kind of gives me perspective. Now in the inside here you see it will be white, but again my pages that I did is gonna cover that unless I go this way, and then you'll obviously see it, but who's gonna see the back of a book unless you purposely show it? But I'm just dry fitting it again just to make sure that it is placed the way I want it to be. I'm actually gonna stand up a little bit to do this. I feel this one might be, no, it's fine. So I think that kind of looks cool. So let's do the center first, since it's a smaller piece. I usually use the poker tools because these things can be a little finicky. Now another thing you can do if you're using tape that's adhesive is you can apply some liquid glue, and I usually do that just to allow it to have some flexibility when I place it. So we're gonna go here in the center, and I'm gonna do this as best as I can while I'm standing. And again, I just want to make sure that I have it lined up pretty straight. And I'm gonna probably do this. Let's see if I can lift it up. Probably not. Nope, it's down. All right, I think I just probably should have moved this over just a tad. There we go. I love this. All right. Now we're going to do the right side. I mean the left side, sorry. Gotta get with my directions here. You see, that's probably, and it's really down good. I probably should have done that one more time. Oh, well, it is what it is, right? Sometimes it's kind of tricky to line them up right. All right, so let's do the left. Slide this baby over so you can see. And I am going to see if we can do this because this is a bigger section. Sometimes you can kind of like maneuver it in a way. All right, forget it. I'm just gonna lay it down. I'm gonna commit. And I'm gonna make sure that I am putting it where I want it to go. Okay, and I'm just gonna go upright. That's really gonna irritate me, but whatever, it is what it is. Okay. All right, I got it down good. I'm so excited about this, guys. Okay, now is gonna be the fun part. I feel like I should leave it in its place and then just pull from where it's at. So I am gonna close my glue container so that way it doesn't dry up. And we're just gonna do this together. So actually, I just realized something. Because there's a lot of moving pieces on the other side. All right. I don't know which way to go about this. So I'm gonna peel all these. I'm gonna keep this up in the air if I can. And we're gonna come back down and see about the placement, which I want to see is like right there. There we go. Okay. Now on this other side, because I was silly and decided to do all these little tiny things of tape. Okay, now I'm gonna pull these down if I can get my finger on them. And then there's two big ones. All right, took a little bit more pulling than expected. Okay, so we're gonna come back down here and I am going to do my best. I'm making sure, oh, there's another piece down here. All right, I'm just pulling them all back and pray to God that it still lines up. So, trying to keep it manipulated in a way that it still works. And we have this line here, and it really is supposed to be tucked under the other. And that is really my fault. Come on. Oh, great. Don't rip. Okay, so if you're gonna do this, put one side down before the other. And hopefully all right, well, more of a seam than I wanted to, but it is what it is. All right, so we are actually done. What do you guys think? I think it came out pretty cool. All right, now I am just gonna put all of my stuff inside, and then yeah. So anyways, hope this was fun for you guys. If you're trying to want to do something like this, I definitely should have gone a little bit shorter on the insert, but you know, that's how you learn. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you had a good time watching me create something, and I will catch you on the next video. Take care.